Welcome to Redesigning Health and Home. I'm Meg.
And I'm Carrie. We love creating beautiful, functional spaces and living healthy, vibrant lives. So join us as we chat about simple, practical ways to take care of your body, mind, and your home. Whether it's fitness tips, home decor ideas, recipe, or navigating those big life moments, we're here to share what works for us and what doesn't, with some encouragement along the way.
Let's redesign this life together, one step, one room, and one habit at a time. Hello and welcome back to Redesigning Health and Home. I'm Meg, and today Carrie and I are beyond excited to welcome Kinley and Lauren of Gals Need Pals. Kinley and Lauren, the dynamic duo behind Gals Need Pals, are revolutionizing women's friendships with flair. Kinley, the spirited founder and president, launched the initiative in 2022, leaving her teaching career to create vibrant, themed events that ignite connections post-pandemic. Lauren, the charismatic VP and marketing maven, joined in 2023, bringing her social media expertise and event planning brilliance. Together, they host sold-out brunches, wine nights, craft evenings, and even an adult prom, cultivating sisterhood across multiple cities. With boundless energy and heart, they inspire authentic bonds, making them the ultimate champions of connection and community. Welcome, Kinley and Lauren.
Great. Thank you so much for having us.
We're excited to have you. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about how Gals Need Pals got started.
Yeah, I started it, as you said, in September of 2022. And it's simply because I didn't know how to make friends as an adult. I was new to the area and was a third grade teacher, so my colleagues were predominantly older than I was, and I was really struggling to make friends. Obviously, I moved here in what I always call the heart of the plague in May of 2020, so a lot of it I copped up to COVID, but for 2 years of just loneliness and isolation, I had to make a change. And I sat with my parents in the summer of 2022, and I asked them what I should do, if I needed to move to a different city or if I needed to I needed advice. I needed their advice on how to make friends because I didn't know how to do it. And they, of course, suggested I join a softball league or something of the sort, which in theory is great. But I was not really ready to go into a group of people that probably already knew each other and be the oddball out. And a lot of those leagues are co-ed. So I was just not really ready to go into that. I was single at the time, so I was just really craving women and female friendship and that connection with women. I have incredible friends from college and from childhood, but when you're young, it's just easier to make friends, and a lot of it is circumstantial. So I needed to figure out how to do that for adulthood, and I didn't know how, so I started Gals Need Pals.
That's amazing. That's such an inspirational story, honestly, that you just trusted yourself and you went with your passion, and it has bloomed. So I'm anxious to hear more. How about you, Lauren?
I actually got my start as a content creator over 6 years ago, and I had moved back to Spokane after doing a stint in the Western Seattle area. And as much as I loved living in the Seattle area and stuff, it was definitely the Seattle freeze. And I had come back to Spokane after going to college here in 2022. Funnily enough, the same week that Gals Need Pals had their first event, and they followed me on Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? This is so smart. Because most of my friends had moved away, and so I didn't know how to make friends either. As a creator, I'm just sitting at home talking to myself all day, and that's a kind of isolating job if you think about it. And so I started attending events, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to get involved somehow. So I was able to meet up with Kinley, and I said, hey, how can I help? What can I do? She's like, I need help with social media and making sure this thing keeps on keeping on while I'm teaching. And I was like, I got you. And so we became the dynamic duo that, I think, February or March.
That's incredible. Now, I want to go back to the Seattle freeze. You are not literally freezing. You are talking socially, right?
Correct.
Yes. I mean, you are kind of freezing in the rain.
Well, because we have some listeners just out in the Midwest that might have not known that phrase.
It's been a phenomenon for a long time, and it's just this theory that people that come into Seattle or transplants of Seattle struggle to make friends. And it's not that people in the Pacific Northwest aren't nice, because I don't think that that's an accurate description of people in the Northwest. They're just pretty closed off. I'm from the South. I'm originally from Texas. So being from Texas, everyone is nice and everyone is open and everyone is like trying to get to know you in any scenario. You could be standing at the grocery store and they're like, howdy, how are you? How was your day? All these things. People in the Pacific Northwest do not do that. And so that is what the Seattle freeze is kind of about. And that's what we're trying to overcome.
Well, making friendships is very important, and you are inspiring all of us because we are totally young at heart. But even as you grow, like you said, it's difficult if you're in a new place or new community, or you want to get out and get social. So I have seen so much on your Instagram pages that looks just so much fun. So how do you come up with your ideas or for your events?
Sometimes it's just something that I want to do. And so I have always loved hosting. I love the concept of having all your friends over and having kind of a theme of the night. And I love cooking and I love all of that. But I didn't obviously have the friends. So I was struggling to find that outlet, right? Because in college, me and my roommate always hosted our friends. And we had some type of theme. We hosted every Friendsgiving and lots of parties and things like that. And we always made it really just super special by lots of decor. But I didn't know how to do that here. So that's kind of been translated into how I do Gals Need Pals events. Obviously, when you're hosting just your friends at your house, it's much smaller scale. So with Gals Need Pals, I have to budget in a way that I probably don't when I'm having my friends over at my house. But sometimes it's just like things I see on social media, or I really want to go to a garden party, or, you know, I want to do this or that. And then sometimes it's actually just businesses that reach out to us to host at their establishment. And then I just kind of try to make it cute and girly from there. I love a theme. Give me a theme any day of the week and I can run with it. So I typically find a theme.
That's fabulous. Now, before you had Lauren, who is the social media maven here, when you first started introducing your parties or your events, were you nervous about the attendance? I mean, because it's grown quite a bit now. How were those first few?
Oh my gosh, so nervous, but also just so hopeful, I think, because I wasn't ever planning on this being a career, right? I was just a third grade teacher that was desperate for friends. And so that first event was really just like, I hope people come because I want to make friends. It's funny. People always ask like, oh, like, was it a struggle to get those first few events? You know, did you get a lot of people to come? Things like that. And I don't know if it was luck. I don't know if it was good marketing on my behalf, but I had 75 women sign up for the first event. So,
that's amazing. Oh my goodness. And Lauren, you went to one of those events, right?
Yes, I wasn't able to make the very first event, but the second one on, I was like, all right, I'm going to show up. This is really cool.
Okay, but how did you find Gals Need Pals then?
Through Instagram. They had followed me, and I was like, what's this little pink thing that just popped up? And I clicked on the page, and they're like, we're a women-only social event group here in Spokane, Washington. I need to socialize in Spokane because when I had first moved out here, I was just reaching out to other influencers, creators. I was like, I'm going to need some sort of community because I really struggled to find that when I was living in Seattle. And I just was like, okay, we're not going to make the same mistake as last time and make friends. We're going to meet people. And so this was a really cool kind of natural progression. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. And now I've met so many friends and made so many connections that I'm almost overwhelmed with the social calendar.
Oh, that's so great. You said, I remember part of your first introduction on your podcast that you were saying, even though you have a pretty big social presence, that you still were shy and nervous. So that's nice to hear as an older adult and maybe our following that they can just go to things and still have a good time. So
Oh, yeah.
thank you for being welcoming. Now, can you share some of the challenges maybe? Are you still experiencing up and down, learning about the business? What are some challenges maybe you experience as a business owner or in the friendship arena?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I keep telling everyone I didn't go to college to own a business. I didn't get my master's degree in business. I went to school to be an educator, and then I got my master's degree in education. So starting a business was completely brand new to me. And so I'm learning every single day still because I have to figure out how to manage the business.
Yeah.
I would say the challenges right now are obviously the economy is quite difficult and people are struggling financially. And we do sell tickets to our events now. We try really hard to be reasonably priced, but that's how we pay the businesses that we're working with. We don't take anything from our attendees. 100% of the profit made from ticket sales goes to the businesses that we're working with. And the girls get something out of their ticket price, their food, their drink, their activity, whatever. Okay. And we try to stay really reasonably priced. It's, difficult. It's not a necessity, right? It's a luxury to go out and do these kinds of things. And so getting people to want to spend their money on it is a challenge. So we're just trying to overcome that every single day. So try to find new ways to entice women to show up.
Well, it sounds like you're very mindful and thoughtful about that money situation. So that will just inspire you more to make it so fun and inviting and warm and want people to come that they're going to want to come to your next event. So speaking of events, what exciting things are on the horizon for the summer?
Yeah, depending on when this is going live, we have one on Thursday, June 5th, which is a pottery event here in Spokane. We're super excited. It's out here in the valley, and the girls get to do a craft. We have pizza coming for them. I think we have some non-alcoholic beer. We really try to make these as memorable as possible because we do understand you're putting good money, hard-earned money into these events in your ticket that you're purchasing. Let's make this as positive of an experience as possible. We're doing that, and then in July, we're hosting a garden party at Garden Party, actually, in downtown, and that's going to be a super special event where the girls can dress up. There's going to be drinks, light bites. It's going to be the perfect time to just kind of feel like a little garden fairy. Like I have this fun little floral dress that I plan to wear. You can't tell my background's in like fashion and style and what have you. So that's where my brain always goes. And then one of the coolest things, we've been meaning to do this for years now, but we're doing a funeral to summer in August. So we're going to have RIP summer. Everyone's going to dress in black. I think it's going to be a murder mystery party as well. And so really cool concept. And again, get to play with like decor and really get the women involved. That way they're not only buying this ticket to, yeah, you're having food and activity, but you're getting an experience, you're getting a memory. Hopefully it's going to be something that you're like, yes, I would love to come back to this.
Those all sound so great. Now, speaking of the events and people wanting to come back, have you gotten feedback that, gosh, I made a connection or I made a new friend? What kind of stories can you share about that?
Yeah, we have amazing success stories. It's so sweet. I love it. I remember the first experience I had of seeing that Gals Need Pals worked was I was actually on the playground when I was still teaching and I was doing recess duty, and there was one of my colleagues who had come to a Gals Need Pals event, and I looked over at her and she had a group message that literally said Gals Need Pals, and it was a group of girls that had met at a Gals Need Pals event, and they were all just chatting and they'd become friends and they were talking about going to the next one and things like that. So that was kind of the first experience I had of a success story because I just didn't expect that. It's like my baby was on someone else's phone and they had a group message about it. That's crazy to think about. But we also have a couple of Lauren's friends met at Gals Need Pals and they became best friends. And one of them helped the other's fiance propose.
They just had the wedding the other weekend, and like she was
So
one of
neat.
the something blues helping out. They're on a bowling league together, just like the most wholesome thing. And it wouldn't have happened if we didn't go to Gals Need Pals and just happened to sit across from her at one of the dinners.
That's incredible. That has to just be the best feeling that you are providing such a connection.
Oh, yeah.
What would your advice be to someone that would want to go to some sort of event, whether it's yours or something else, but they're a little shy or they don't have anyone to go with? What would you tell them?
Honestly, go find the person that's also standing alone in the corner. I was at a networking event, funnily enough, that wasn't even Gals Knee Pals related. And because I've been going to so many events, I've been hosting, this has really brought me out of my shell. I mean, Kinley can attest, I was very nervous. Like, I would just stand behind my phone at the first several events, filming everyone. And I was like, okay, I'm here, but like, was I really there? And now I feel like I've just cracked open and I can talk to anybody in the room. And I was at a networking event and there was this girl standing alone. So I just struck up a conversation. I was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, what's your background? It was like a business thing. And so learned a little bit about what she does. And it can really easily translate into Gals Knee Pals and just say, hey, I'm Lauren. Nice to meet you. People want that connection. They're there for a reason. They spent money on a ticket. Just put yourself out there. You never know what's going to happen. And who knows? You can make a friend.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, even though there's the difference, we all still want connection. We all still want friendship. I think it was on the podcast or maybe something I read on one of your social media posts about the gal part, how you want, if you go in the bar bathroom, you want just to be that community, that support, whether you know that person, hey, I will call you an Uber, whatever it is. And that, even though there's so many different age ranges, we all want to feel we have that wing person. And it's so nice that you are providing that to try to find that person, because your events are going to provide that no matter what. I mean, that's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we are so fortunate to be able to do this every single month and just help as many women as possible. To speak on the fact that it can be really nerve-wracking to go into a scenario where if you're, have social anxiety or if you're a little more shy, we have some resources from a psychiatrist, and she posted all of these tips and tricks for people to overcome social anxiety going to events, be either a Gals Knee Pals event or just events in general. And that's on our social media pages that they can take a look at and try to figure out ways to overcome their social anxiety, because in the end, it is mental health. Is overcoming fear to make friends is a huge issue in mental health. So we're just always open to helping as many people as possible to feel confident in the fact that they deserve friendship.
That is so great. Now you are in 2 cities so far. Do you think of expanding at all? 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. What is the other one I'm missing?
Olympia. We just opened it in April. So we just opened that
Wow.
branch. Yeah. So that one is just a quarterly event just because we go to every single event ourselves. And so we travel over to these places and host the events. And with only being 2 of us, it's kind of difficult. We do have a new team member, which is awesome. Our intern, Saleya, we love her. But as we expand our team, the more we can expand to different cities. I of course, want to be in every city possible because I do think that it is a huge benefit in every city to have Gals Knee Pals or something of the sort. We have an event in Seattle on June 14th. You get to get your hair done, your makeup done, photos, and that will be great. And then we're taking a small break in Seattle because I'm getting married in August.
Yay! So. Now, is your fiance part of your business? Does he help, think about ideas and stuff?
Yes, he is sitting across from me.
Nice.
He definitely is involved. He loves Gals Knee Pals. He is what we call the muscle a lot of the time, especially when we're over on the west side. He travels with us a lot, and so he will just kind of sit in the corner during the events, but he helps with moving tables and helping bring things in from the car. He's an incredible salesman. He does very well for himself, but he's very good at selling things, so he loves to sell Gals Knee Pals to anyone. So he's just the biggest hype man.
Since you're the event planner extraordinaire, are you planning all of your own wedding then?
I do have a wedding planner, but yes, I am
Okay.
very, very involved. My venue requires a wedding planner, and so I couldn't just get like a day of coordinate or anything. So she's amazing. She's actually has sponsored Gals Need Pals events now twice. Her name is Ashlyn Rose Events, and she's amazing. I feel like we really have just collaborated on this thing because, of course, I told her from the jump, I was like, I'm going to plan everything. So just be there the day of. We have been able to have monthly meetings and it's been fun.
Oh, that's so great. Well, congratulations. That's very exciting.
Thank
Now,
you.
for businesses, you said, your fiance helps you. Lauren, do you approach businesses? You said they're finding you sometimes because your social media presence has grown. How do you secure the venues or secure the events, and what kind of creative process does that take?
Yeah. Take multiple approaches to get there. We sometimes, yes, get people reaching out and they're like, hey, we heard about you. We would love to do X, Y, and Z with you. And we're like, sure, let's get this coordinated. We have some businesses that we've worked with a few times now, and they just are our repeat customers, and we love those kinds of businesses. Most of them are women owned, and so it's been really special to have those long-term relationships because, again, we're in the business of relationships, of friendship making. Not only do we get to have that with the girls that come, but now we also have that with businesses as well, which is so special and really cool way of going about life and young adulthood. And then another big portion is me just pitching and reaching out to other businesses. I always like to joke that, oh, I got to play baseball. It's time to pitch to all these brands. But it's been a really cool way to increase our brand awareness, build new relationships, make new friends. I try to go to networking events in Spokane when I can and just really utilize this big community that we've cultivated. Sometimes I'll even post like, hey, we're looking for this. So we'll have some crowdsourcing from our community. And it's been really beneficial to get all of these different pieces to make the overall calendar puzzle of Gals Need Pals. And we always try to book up as far out as we can so we're really prepared and can make these events as big and impactful as possible.
Well, that's amazing. Now, I think I'm going to throw this at you without preparation maybe, but do you have a quote or a tagline or a mission statement that you want someone to take away that embodies Gals Needs Pals?
Well, technically, our catchphrase is bringing the bar bathroom banter to the real world. That is our tagline, because if you are a woman or a young woman of some sort, you know that the bar bathroom is the place to be at the bar. It's girlhood embodied, I think, because every girl is hyping each other up and they're, making sure that they're safe, and you become best friends with a group of women in 5 minutes, and then you go on with your day. So that is our tagline. But our mission is that we are a women-only social event organization to help adult women make friends. And we do that in the best way that we can by hosting events at a reasonably priced ticket. We are as accessible and inclusive to women as possible over the age of 21.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, where can people find you?
Everywhere. We're on Instagram, TikTok, all under Gals Need Pals. We have an awesome Facebook group that is getting close to 1,000 girls, which is insane. We have a website. We've got a newsletter that I share once a week. So tons of different sources to connect with us. Just Google Gals Need Pals and we'll pop up. Oh, we even have a YouTube channel now, the podcast of our own right. So the list is never ending.
To get your newsletter, is that via email, or how would you obtain that?
There should be a little pop-up when you first visit our website that says join our newsletter. And so you just add your email there, or you can directly message us on one of our social platforms and we can get that to you.
That's so beautiful. Well, thank you so much for the conversation and sharing your mission and your company with us. We will be excited to share all of your socials on Redesigning Health and Home here. This has been a delight. Thank you both so much. Is there anything else you can leave with our listeners to inspire them to get out and get social?
Yeah, I think that you brought up multiple times the category of age. We are not age discriminatory at Gals Need Pals. So as long as you are over the age of 21 for legal reasons, because we have alcohol at a lot of our events, you are welcome. We've had women that are 70, 75 years old. There's women that are as young as 21 or 22, but every woman deserves a chance at friendship, and every woman needs that connection with other women, and we welcome all women to join us.
I love that so much. Well, I hope everybody comes and checks out all of your socials. It has been a truly delightful conversation. Ladies, thank you so much and best of luck with your future events.
Thank you.
All right.
Meg, I loved that interview that you just shared with Kinley and Lauren from Gals Need Pals, and it was so relevant to me because similar to you, I believe you've lived in your new home for about a year. We've lived in our new home about 2 years. And yeah, when your kids are grown up and gone, and I think we're in a different age and stage than Kinley and Lauren, perhaps, but when the kids go and you don't have to go to dance or go to riding or go to sports, how the heck are you supposed to meet new people? I just find it's been a challenge for me. And so I really enjoyed the fact that they were sharing that, even as young women, just how difficult it can be. So I loved the interview. What sorts of takeaways did you enjoy the most about that?
Well, absolutely. I was so inspired that they just grabbed the bull by the horns and created this community. And I did find them probably, I don't think I shared this when I was talking to them. I saw their Instagram or their Facebook, Gals Need Pals, and I did message them because I thought, oh, what if I don't have anybody to go to? And they were so welcoming. They said, please come, please come. I didn't go because, life happens. But then when she was talking, we are open to everybody of all ages. So what a welcoming group. I was just really impressed with the two of them, that they've created this community and such fun events that you can just go to, and maybe a bunch of other people will be there on their own. So it did encourage me that maybe I should put myself out there more for those type of events, even if you're going by yourself. So that was an encouragement. But like you said, the different stage of life that we're in, because they're young and social and probably have a little more energy than maybe we do, but you are very vibrant. I'm just saying, sometimes I get tired and then it's 9 o'clock and you think, do I really want to go out now? That's a side note. But when we are in these stage, maybe we have some caregiving responsibilities, or maybe work-life balance is a little different, or the social expectations. Sometimes you just have that anxiety or nervous, or like you said, you're just in a new place to begin with. So It was inspiring to hear that they just started this community and it's starting to grow and thrive. And I hope everybody can find them if they're in that area. And maybe there's something in your own area that is similar.
Well, maybe we need to start our Gals Need Pals sessions at 4 p.m. so we can go to bed by 9.
Yes, the 4 p.m. crowd for sure.
Yes. Well, it actually inspired me to reach out to my next door neighbor, Kira. She's younger than I am. She's got a couple of young teenage boys, and she travels to her work most days, whereas I work from home. And I reached out to her and I said, let's try to do like a once a month, with some of our neighbor ladies. And if they wanted to invite their friends as well, they certainly could. So it's not going to be anything near the scale as Gals Need Pals, but I loved some of their themes. They seemed super fun, and it inspired me to kind of start towards something, building something for myself, obviously not as an actual business, but just, if you don't reach out, nobody's going to come knocking at your door. Right? Like nobody's going to knock on your door and say, hey, you want to be my friend? Right? So you got to put yourself out there.
You have to put yourself out there. And that is great. I'm so happy you were inspired by the conversation to reach out to your neighbor. And we have to just occasionally do that. Even say hi to someone at the grocery store and find the familiarity that we're looking for. I was talking to my husband about this situation, and he made a good point that when we used to read the newspaper, everybody read all of the same stuff. And even TV shows, you'd put on channels 2, 5, and 7, or 9, or whatever they were. But now, just to find that common bond, because there's Netflix, Hulu, Apple, Max, and so many more, YouTube TV, that even if I said, hey, do you watch the show? It's probably a no. There's not that easy common thread.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. I hadn't really thought about that before, but you're so right. And I know, talking to my girls, if you don't connect with somebody through school or through work, then how are you going to do it as a young 20-something in a city the size of Chicago? Like, talk about volume of people, but that doesn't mean you're going to necessarily connect with them. And so I was talking specifically to Jordan about trying to find your people, with some kind of common something. There's lots of things she loves, but she really likes to do pottery. So I said, why don't you join a pottery group or something where you have some kind of connection right from the very beginning? And I think that's what Gals Need Pal is doing. At least everybody likes the activity they're going to, right? So that's the common ground there.
For sure. Yes, absolutely. You need to find that common bond and just have some fun. That's what these gals are doing. They're creating and finding businesses that want to support their events. And they all sound fun to me. I just saw on their social, they were doing some go get your hair done with brunch and lunch. I thought, well, I'll go do that, but
absolutely.
Yes, but life happens. So I think we need to just pause, and maybe it's not always me first, but me also. I want some connection, so I should put myself out there. So thank you to Kinley and Lauren for inspiring us at any age and every age to get out there and find connections and be social.
For sure. Good for them. Good for them. And also, I think that you should just go, Meg. I wish I lived close enough where we could buddy up and go together, because there is something comforting about having somebody to go with. But I think you should go and then tell me about it.
To be continued. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Sounds really good. Well, that was an awesome interview. And thanks so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Hey there, Redesigning Health and Home family. It's time for our favorite part of the show, giving a big heartfelt shout out to one of our amazing listeners who's been tuning in and spreading the love. This week, we're sending all our warm wishes to Susan from Washington. Susan, your support lights up our hearts, and we're so grateful to have you in our community, cheering us on as we dive into fitness, home styling, and all things wellness. Keep shining, and thanks for being part of this journey. Thanks for listening to the Redesigning Health and Home podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, we would love for you to like, share, and follow along so you can catch us on all future episodes. You can find me, Meg, at Fit, Fed, Feeling Good on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And you can find me, Carrie, on my website at homestylewithcarrie.com and on Instagram and Facebook at Homestyle with Carrie. That's Kerri. And you can find both of us at Redesigning Health and Home on Instagram and Facebook. So join us next time for more inspiration on creating a home and a lifestyle that truly supports your best self.
The topics discussed on Redesigning Health and Home are for entertainment purposes only. We are not physicians and we are not counselors, so please just enjoy this as it's intended to be.